What up, you guys? I have a lot to update you guys on, but tonight I actually want to focus on a single issue, given a lot of the developments that have been going on this week. In one of my previous videos, I had actually brought up a gentleman by the name of Larry Faircloth. He is a Republican delegate from West Virginia, and he has entered the fight against big tobacco, FDA, all that good stuff. He's really taken a stand and been publicly speaking out and rallying a lot of support. I mean, his group is fairly new. He only arrived on the scene probably about a month ago. And he's well over, I think, like 5,000 members in his group at this point. And people are loving him. I know that I had spoken out favorably in regards to a lot of his work that he's been doing, just in speaking out and rallying people. And then he also just last week was able to defeat the tax on vaping that West Virginia residents were facing. This week, I believe it was Memorial Day, actually, he made an announcement that he is going to be partnering with a local shop, a shop local to us. They have a location in both West Virginia and Virginia. And they are going to be manufacturing an e-liquid flavor under Larry Faircloth's name. The name of the e-liquid is Larry's Throat Punch. Before I get into kind of opinion and all of that, he did make a post announcing that he was going to have this, he was going to be releasing this flavor. And he said that he was going to also be making an announcement regarding his legal strategies, and that announcement was going to take place today. So today he did rally a bunch of people. They met at the Golden Corral in West Virginia, and he broadcast live. He dropped the name of the law firm that he was going to be using. He said that it was about $400 an hour that they were going to be charging him, and that he in total had estimated about 100 grand for legal fees that he needed to go ahead and raise funds for. And so this new e-liquid was going to be the primary vehicle to do so. So I had spoken out about Larry, publicly praising him based on, what little information was available, that, he was actively posting. He was, speaking out publicly in support of the industry. He himself is a vapor. And so that always helps. And, he had pledged to join the fight and, really work hard to, give us all the support from a political side that we could get to try to overturn these regulations, change the predicate date, and effectively save vaping as we know it. So at a time when everybody's really scared and everybody's really worried, about their own personal hobby, about their businesses, about their homes, about everything that they, have in this life. A lot of people, like me and Chris, have everything invested in their businesses. So it's really scary to be facing the fact that you could lose it all in a very short period of time. Everybody's looking for a hero right now. Everybody wants good news. Everybody wants someone, to come riding in and save the day. And a lot of people are looking to Delegate Faircloth to do this for them. I have been sitting back and I've been just kind of watching this all play out. I will say when he made his announcement on Monday announcing that he was going to come out with an e-liquid flavor, I was very upset. I feel that now he is no longer an impartial party. He is no longer able to objectively argue on our behalf. And I feel as though his legitimacy is in question here and will be questioned by politicians, on the Hill. Additionally, he could have, gone any direction with this new e-liquid flavor. I believe it's a menthol and something, but it is a menthol base. He chose to name it Larry's Throat Punch. As a politician, as a white-collar professional who is, really fighting to go to the Hill and go to the White House, are you going to go into the White House and meet the President of the United States and worse, the First Lady, and say, hi, here's Larry's Throat Punch? It's just horribly, inappropriate, in my opinion. This industry is not necessarily the most politically correct. We have a lot of people who have come out with really, crude names. I mean, there are conventions with stripper poles, for God's sakes, and I am not prude. I'm far from it, but I do believe that there's a time and a place for everything. And I know that Chris and I have always tried really hard to be professional in all of our dealings with the public, because we feel as though, that's how business is best served. And I would expect that a politician would be, thinking along the same lines and behaving in a similar fashion. To go, he could have named it anything in the world, and to go with a name like that just really, again, questions his credibility and is going to call into question his credibility from other politicians in the political arena that are, that he's going to be hopefully working with, that he's supposed to be, persuading to come over to our side and help support this industry. His approach is just all wrong, in my opinion. I don't think that he's going to be the savior that everybody thinks that he is, and I don't think that he is taking the correct approach. I think he is seriously at risk for doing a lot more harm than good here. You can tell this whole thing is just stressing me out. So, I have been thinking about this for, about a week now. I've been holding my tongue since Monday, because that's when I was really ready to speak out. But I wanted to see what Larry was going to come out with. I believe that he may be coming out with more details tomorrow. As far as his live feed that he hyped up so much today, not really much was said. He gave the name of his law firm. He showed a couple of checks, and that was about it. He did start the live feed by saying that he was there with a group of vapors and they were stealth vaping in Golden Corral. That in itself is, a horrible way to, lead the people. You're not leading by example here by going into an establishment that doesn't allow vaping and stealth vaping and advertising that. He's already got some 500 views in the hour it's been since he went offline. And I know that is a poor portrayal of, what the vaping community is. Certainly not how I want to be portrayed as a vapor, but nonetheless, what's done is done, I suppose. So let's talk about Larry Faircloth here for a minute. Let me give you some background, because I've done some research to find out exactly who this gentleman is. He is born and raised in West Virginia. His father was also a Republican delegate for the state government. He represents District 60, which is Berkeley, West Virginia. He was elected to the House in 2012 to 2014, and his term ends this November 30th. Now, this is not something that he's broadcasting to people. The approach that he's taking is very much that as a politician, I can do more for you than if I was just, the general public. That it's different when you are taking a legislative approach when you're challenging legislation. It's much easier to do so when you're a politician against the government than it is as a civilian against the government. So that's his whole stance. However, at no point has he really brought up the fact that come November, he's not a politician anymore. He goes back to being, general public. And, how does that affect everything that he's raising funds for and this whole plan that he has, to fight the government? He did run for treasurer this year, treasurer of West Virginia, and he did lose to Ann Erling. So yeah, he will be out of office and, out of official politics come November. His foundation is really built solidly on fighting for small business. That's kind of been the foundation of his campaigns to date. And so it makes sense that, he would take vaping. I mean, again, he's a vapor himself, so it makes sense that he's going to adopt, our cause as one of his own. He does own his own business too, so that is yet another reason of why he kind of identifies with our fight. Interestingly enough, I did in doing some research on him, I did find that in 2013, Martinsburg's The Journal published an article saying that Delegate Larry Faircloth, Republican Berkeley, will see his legislative wages garnished after failing to pay off nearly $50,000 in debt incurred as a result of a civil judgment. I wasn't really able to find out any details on what that civil judgment entailed, but again, cause for concern that a court judgment was passed. He clearly did not respect it, did not choose to do anything about it, and they had to garnish his wages. That's concerning for me. When you have vapors, I mean, he went live tonight and he's holding up all these checks that people have given him to fight for the cause. Sorry, there's some bug flying in my eyeball. But people are giving him their hard-earned money and saying, here, take care of me, fight for me. It's the dog. I'm like, who is creeping up on me behind the house? And he has a track record of not being fiscally responsible. And not only that, but also, showing a complete disregard for the courts, again, calling into question his legitimacy as, is this the individual that we want to represent us and fight for us in this battle? And this is on a public stage. I mean, as he gets higher and higher, and he makes it to the Hill, and he makes it, to the White House, and he starts, going toe-to-toe with, all these people higher up the political ladder, so to speak. They're going to dig up all this stuff too, and they're going to want to know who they're dealing with too. And if they can discredit him, guess what, you guys? We're all discredited too. And all that money and all that time and all that energy that we have invested in potentially the wrong person, we're not going to get that back, So all I'm saying is, again, I've never met him personally. I don't know his life story. I don't know the details surrounding the civil judgment and what happened in his life, if there were extenuated circumstances that prevented him from paying the judgment or what have you. I don't know. I really don't. All I know is what I'm seeing in black and white and how I'm interpreting it myself. I'm concerned. We're all adults here. You guys can make your own decision on what you feel is right and do what you need to do, but I do feel though it's my responsibility to put the facts out there so that you can at least make an educated decision. So really, in his live feed, I did post and say that, and ask when I can, ask him questions. I have questions. He kind of, did this live feed. He's summarizing over things we already know. Really, the only thing that was new was the name of his law firm, the fact that he needs $100,000, which I've heard from people who are very well versed in legal proceedings, well versed in, the whole process for what we're going to go through to overturn these regulations, are already involved in the vaping industry. They said that to think that $100,000 is going to cover this fight is laughable. It's going to be far, far more than that. And that, just the efforts of other organizations thus far have already exceeded that amount in no time. So, and he has not really disclosed, Faircloth has not really disclosed what those funds are for, how he arrived at this number, what that's supposed to pay for. I'm assuming for his legal fees. That's kind of all he really said in the live feed. But we got to ask questions, guys. Before you write that check, make sure that you are putting your support in the right place. And I'm not saying that his heart isn't in the right place. I don't know. And that's why I have questions. I want to know, why has he chosen to pursue this? Why is he going at it alone? Why hasn't he teamed up with CASA and SAFADA and CEVIA and, all of these organizations that are all banding together, that are all working together? Why is he not a part of that? I would think that, with their legislative experience and legal experience and, the funds that they already have and the momentum they already have and the support they already have and all the different resources available to them, why wouldn't he want to take advantage of that? Why wouldn't he team up with them? And if he has political experience to bring to the table, surely they have, a special concentration that he can focus on within, this greater issue. I don't understand why he feels that going it alone is going to be beneficial to him and to all of us. I hope that he will at least be willing to join with other state reps and kind of form his own coalition and be receptive to the help of others. But I guess that remains to be seen. Again, his whole point, all he keeps saying over and over again is, I'm an elected politician. So me, going against the government, it's far easier and a different process for me to do it as someone already in the political game than, being just a member of the general public. However, he's only got a few short months and he's out of office. So, fine, it's advantageous for him now, but what does that mean, in a couple of months, by the time he's done with all the fundraising and everything? How is that going to impact, the next steps moving forward? And is, his progress going to be stunted because he is no longer in the political arena? Is he going to be shut out even worse because, he's made enemies while he was in politics by essentially going against other politicians? I'm not sure. But I would love to hear his thoughts on the matter. Also, what do you intend on doing with these funds? Where are they going? Are you going to set up a 501? How's the money going to be funneled through from the donation to, whatever you're going to be spending it on? There hasn't been a lot of disclosure regarding his exact plans for the funds. All the checks that he was holding up during the live feed, well, they're all made out to him personally. So I guess there's not any actual organization or fund that's been set up. It's just through his personal bank account. I don't know. And again, these are things that he's not putting out there. He's basically said, hey guys, support me. I beat a bill in West Virginia. I can do this for you on, the national stage. Give me your money and believe my words that I'm going to make this happen. I don't know. And then again, doesn't he worry that becoming a financial beneficiary of this industry is now going to he's going to be viewed as no longer impartial and having lost his legitimacy in the political arena. I don't know, man. These are things for you guys to think about and to ask. I know when I get the opportunity to talk with him. I mean, I want to know the answers to these questions. I want to know more about his plans to move forward. Again, we're all looking for a hero. We're all looking for someone to step in and save the day. Just make sure you are throwing your support behind the right people. Kasa, Safada, they're all still telling you, write your congressman, write the presidential candidates, for the next election. Get people involved, make them hear you, because all of us standing together will make a difference. We've already heard from the White House today. They lifted the ban on flavors. They upheld the rest of the regulations, but at least they did something. It's at least, a reason to continue hope. They're listening to us. So we just need to continue. Faircloth is promising the easy way out, and I don't think it's going to be that easy. We all have to do our part. And of course, that begins with just research and accountability. So anyway, I'm happy to talk with you guys about this further. To Larry Faircloth, if you see this, I certainly appreciate your efforts thus far. I just think that you need to be more transparent and more clear in what your plans are moving forward. That being said, I have a bunch of other stuff I need to catch you guys up on. Indiana's been making moves. There's a lot going on. So I will work on kind of gathering my notes, and I'll put together another video for you guys soon, but definitely wanted to update you on this while it's still fresh. Have an awesome evening, you guys, and I will catch up with you later. Bye.